Welcome to JustWannaQuilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, where we explore all kinds of things, stories about quilting, tools, field trips, maybe some famous quilters stop by, and, of course, a little bit of copyright thrown in just for fun. I'm Elizabeth Townsend Guard, your host. I'm a law professor at Tulane University Law School. I also have 2 fellowships now, one at the Business School, a LePage Faculty Fellow, and one at the Newcomb Institute, the Greenbaum Fellowship, both at Tulane. Okay, today we talk with Chris Larson of Comfort King Mattress Factory. He has had a ton of stories on him now about his mattress factory making masks, and he had the local sewists help him. We're going to start with something super easy, which is tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Chris Larson. I'm calling from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Awesome. And we also start with a funny question for you, which is, do you have any memory of someone sewing or quilting in your life?
Yes, I do remember my grandmother when I was very young sewing. I don't remember what she sewed. I know she did make blankets. You know, what are those? Are they crocheted? What are the blankets?
Oh, yeah. Right, sure. Yeah, crocheted blankets. Right. Interesting. Yeah. And so tell me what you do now. You're a little bit of a different guest for us. Tell me what you do.
We're mattress builders. I've been making mattresses for the past 25 years, and we do it as a factory direct, which means we make them in a small factory setting, and then we have a showroom connected to our factory. And so when customers come in, you know, the end user, they come in and we show them around. And so all of our employees are actually mattress builders, and they'll go out and wait on customers too. And then
oh my gosh. So are these then done locally? Like you order there? Is it like a local? Do you also are online? Like people can order them or?
Well, we're regional. You know, we're set up to service our 2 markets, which we have factory store in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Fargo, North Dakota. And the vast majority of our business is done in the store to people, you know, in a 100-mile radius, let's say. But we do sell some online a little bit. Interesting.
Well, I've heard, so this is so funny. So we'll talk about what you're doing. But so how do you feel about the whole online market? I've heard that like people are, my husband was reading an article to me about people ordering mattresses and then like not liking them. So there's this whole like huge like problem with mattresses being ordered and then being not usable. Is that?
Yes, that's true. The online mattress business I consider it a scourge in our industry. It benefits no one except a few companies that have popped up, you know, and just started doing it in the last couple of years. And it benefits a few other manufacturers of some of the components, but it doesn't benefit the consumer. It doesn't benefit, you know, the retailers who've invested, you know, their lives, their career, and, you know, millions of dollars to providing a safe, informative environment for customers to come and actually try out the mattress. So you have these online companies they have a lot of promises. They use the same kind of marketing. They always show, you know, attractive females and opening the bed in their apartment or whatever.
If you lay on this mattress, you too will either be that or have that in your life.
Right.
Yes.
And it's just dumb because you can't take a quality mattress and then mash it into a small box and think it's not going to do it some harm.
Right.
So the online bed thing is just it's not great. Nobody in my industry really likes it except for a few suppliers. And what happened was about 4 years ago when I started, I went to a trade show, and for manufacturers, we only have a trade show once every 2 years. And so it was 4 years ago I went to the trade show, and I saw that a lot of my suppliers were really pushing this idea. And I told them, this is a bad idea. And I said, it's going to end up hurting the industry. And sure enough, 2 years later, we saw a lot of the American manufacturers band together and went to Congress to get tariffs put on because lo and behold, they thought they could contain this tiger, you know, and just set the market at, you know, $800 for a queen mattress. But what happened was Amazon and through, you know, Chinese mattresses came in through Amazon, and it just took over the industry. And so now they're super cheap mattresses that are, you know, made with who knows what.
Right. Well, I have to tell you a quick story. Yeah, it's crazy. So my dad, who's now passed away, but he loved ordering everything online. Like, we would get like a huge box of mustard, and like he was way into things online. He started ordering mattresses, and he was a big guy, so he believed that somehow the mattress was the problem. And he would order it, and then he wouldn't like it, and then he'd order another one, and he wouldn't like it. So we had like 4, 5, 6 of these delivered. We were asking people, like, we were begging people to take queen mattresses it was the most ridiculous thing, because he was like, he didn't want to go to the store because he thought that was going to be too hard. But then we would have to get them, and we'd have to unwrap them, and it was really stinky, and then he wouldn't like that, and then we'd have to air it out, and then we'd put it on the bed, and then he'd be like, I don't like it. So it was the most expensive way you could like test out mattresses, and this went on for months. It was insane. We became known as the crazy mattress house because of this. And we're so insane.
It's highly inefficient, and that's why, the biggest company that's been doing this is called Casper, and they just went public a couple months ago, and you can see where their shares are at if you're into that, and they just crashed because they had to release to the public their information on what the profit and loss were and their sales, and it turns out they lost $80 million last year as a company, and most of that's because certain segment of the population, somewhere around 20% is what I heard, but it's a large percentage of people that just don't like them and throw them away. Right. And they can't resell them. It's very inefficient. Right. So the idea of taking mattresses and filling up our landfills with them it's not a good idea.
It's terrible. It's so terrible.
The way we've done it, and we invented what's called the lifetime comfort guarantee. So when someone buys a bed from us, if they don't like the way it feels after the first 30 days, let's say, well, during the life of the bed, which is either 10 or 15 years, during that time, if you don't like the way the bed feels, we'll work with you to change it. We do what's called a comfort adjustment. And we started that about 24 years ago because we wanted our customers to be happy. And like your dad, where he was not sleeping good, and it's probably his body that's the problem. Right. But he was blaming the mattress.
Totally.
We run into that a lot. But instead of just telling people, hey, there's nothing wrong with your mattress, we'll tell them, hey, there's nothing wrong with your mattress. However, would you like it a little firmer or softer or what? Because, we can do it we don't charge anything for labor. So it's just the material cost, which we want to keep that cost.
That's incredible. That's really incredible. Well, if people...
we're keeping the landfills free of Comfort King beds anyway.
Right. Well, that's really interesting. All right, we have to ask you 2 more mattress questions, and we'll get on to what we're supposed to be talking about. Do you have a strategy for those listening out there? I'm not saying I personally need this, but how do you strategize on when you're going to a mattress shop? First of all, if you want a mattress shop like yours and you're not in where you are, how do you find someone like you? And also, how do you shop for a mattress? I always find it very intimidating and confusing when I'm in a mattress shop.
Well, and the industry does that on purpose. They purposefully want to confuse you and consumers, and they do it by changing the names of their models. So, for example, if you're looking at the largest name brand in the country, and you want to compare at one store in your town and then go to another store in your town that also carries that same brand, well, they change the names of the models so you can't compare. So they're doing that on purpose, which is unfortunate, and they just kind of use bait and switch tactics. They use a lot of fake sales, and these are the things that we've been against from day one. We bottom line price, so you can go on my website and see our prices are the same as when you come in the showroom. But this industry kind of thrives on confusing people, and then just wear them down by taking a fake regular price. So, for example, one of the largest retailers in the country sells mattresses. I won't name them, but this is their strategy. So the normal markup on a mattress is they double the price. That's what a retailer does. Okay, so they pay $500, they sell it to you for $1,000. Right. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. However, this chain, they triple their price, and then the salesperson knows they can go down to double. So, for example, they paid $500 for this mattress. Right. They mark it to $1,500, knowing they'll really take $1,000. Right. So anything the salesperson gets above $1,000 is a win. Yeah, and they get more bonus. They're motivated, and they just kind of, people love a sale. It makes them feel kind of get drunk on it. So they always love a sale, right? They love a sale, and that's what tips them over the edge. And so, getting back to your question is, I say never trust a mattress salesman, which it doesn't make it easier to answer your question, but
yeah,
I only would trust someone who's a builder, who's building them in the back.
Interesting.
Most factory directs are all over this country, and they're not in every city, so it's not, and I'm not trying to sell my beds all over the country, so that's not what I'm trying to do here, because we've shipped beds all over the country.
You do.
I'd also encourage anyone who needs a mattress, don't go online and try to find a third party that's going to give good reviews or ratings, because most of those are shams. Most of them are paid for by online box bed people too. So there really isn't a good source for, non-biased recommendations.
That's really hard.
It's difficult because I'm a buyer. I like to buy stuff too, and I want to be educated. So like when I want to buy a vehicle, I'll go online and I'll look at Edmunds and Car and Driver and different websites, and I hope they're being honest, But with mattresses, there is no Consumer Reports is not helpful at all, and they're only covering the big manufacturers, and they really don't talk about, like, the number one problem with mattresses today is what we call soft spots. And what that is, this is intentional, okay? It's when you're laying in bed, most of your body weight's landing on your hips. So about 50% of your weight lands right in a very small circle area where your hips land. Mm-hmm. And that foam is going to lose support over time. And the way foams are now is they'll lose support 10 times faster than they lose height. So you'll feel it when you lay in bed, but when you get out, it doesn't look like it. You can't see the hole. And mattress warranties only cover a visible sag that you can measure with a spring and a tape measure. So their warranties will never cover it. And we bought a machine that tests firmness, and so we actually warranty against that. But we can test beds. We've tested beds that had a 42% soft spot in 8 months' time.
Wow,
I'm talking about
that's
big name
craziness.
Brand bed.
That's really crazy.
And it looks fine. It looks fine, but when you lay on it, it's way softer in your hips area.
Got it.
You need it the most. So.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if that was what was happening to my dad, because he kept complaining, and he was a big guy, so Yep. I could see. He kept saying it was wearing out.
Is foam. If you want to,
it was foam. He was way into the foam ones. Yep.
You want to buy a bed with the least amount of polyurethane foam as possible, and that's the hard part, because these manufacturers they trick up the names. They're not honest about what's inside. They'll make their own names up, what they call the foam, these fancy names, but in the end, it's just polyurethane foam.
Interesting. All right, well, you've made me more, I don't know, I'm confused now. So let me ask you one more. I'm so into the mattress thing. Okay, so I was just talking to someone about buying a serger to help, and they would don't buy a cheap serger. Tell me about mattresses. At what level are we supposed to understand, because they always have those $99 mattress, right? So how do we know what we're buying, and how much should a mattress cost? I mean, I know that it can go up a gazillion to lots and lots of money, but how do we understand what we should be investing in terms of a mattress?
Well, generally speaking, let's say for a queen set, you definitely don't want to spend less than $600. I mean, if you're spending less than $600, you're buying a disposable mattress that you're going to be replacing every year. And, our beds, we build them to last 10 years or more, and our entry level is in a queen set is $600, and we've actually held that price for 12 years now.
Amazing.
So, and there are cheap beds out there, but you get what you pay for. That's true in anything. Unfortunately, in the mattress business, you can spend $3,000 and not get a very good mattress. Usually what happens with most name brand beds is the more you spend, you get prettier fabrics.
Interesting.
And this may interest you because you deal with fabrics and sewing, and my wife picks out my fabrics for me because I'm a guy. I don't know what's really pretty and what's hip right now, and things change. But I know the way women buy mattresses is they come into the store.
Yes.
First, they look at it like you would be looking at any piece of furniture, so you're judging it by how it looks, and so it has to be pretty. The fabric can't be ugly.
Yes.
And then the second thing they do is pet it with their hands, like they're petting it like a cat, right?
Right.
And so and then if they check those two boxes, then it goes down to laying on it, and then
exactly. We have a story in our family of my grandmother who is They were, they had good times and bad times. Every family does, but at this point, they had quite a bit of money, and she insisted that the mattress cover matched the rest of the decor of the pink and the black. And then was so embarrassed by the fact that she realized that no one would ever see it, that she hadn't really thought it through. And it used to make my mom giggle because we had this bed for forever, but it made me laugh. So yes, we like the aesthetic look of something, and that seems to be important even if we're going to cover it with sheets. So.
Well, that's how the industry tricks people. They make them very pretty. I call them beautiful disasters. And I also call them fattresses. And what those are is they're fat mattresses. That they make them really thick because a lot of people think that the thicker it is, the more luxurious it is. But when you fill it full of cheap foam, I compare it to if you wanted to go eat some tacos and you ordered it, you said, give me the fattest taco. I'm really hungry. And they brought it to you and it was full of lettuce.
It's not going to be helpful. Right. And it looks like I bet your website now that you have coils and... Do you have coils and foam stuff? Like they're... Yeah.
And you have to use some foam. We're just careful on the kind of foam we use and how much polyurethane foam. Our coils we're very proud of because they're pocketed coils, so they're very comfortable. Mm-hmm. And they're made in Germany. So, we do build the best mattresses in the world, but you got to go all over the world to get the materials to do that.
That's really interesting. And then I guess the last question is that ILD, you have a rating like 30 ILD, 35. Like, what is ILD? And could you know what your ILD number is? And then do you have to lay on a mattress to know? And I never know. I think, okay, they all seem the same to me. So how do we understand what the ILD number is?
Well, that's an internal rating that we use because we have an actual machine that can measure how firm something is. And so we do testing on every model. And our range of firmness is on the low end, on the soft side of the equation. 19 to 20 is kind of our softest bed, and then our firmest is a 45.
Got it.
So 30 is a real medium, and we have a lot of models that are right at that 30 range. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, that's our most popular, firmness rating is a 30. Mm-hmm. But some people want it really firm, and that's who goes for the 45.
But the 30 is the middle of the road, you don't know anything about mattresses and you just want something, you're not picky. Some people are super picky, but 30s, 30s and it's your own system. It's not a national system.
Correct. It's not a national system, and because no one else is doing this. No one else is using this testing equipment for measuring mattresses like that. This testing equipment, we didn't make it.
Right.
But we did patent the system for measuring firmness, for comparing one spot to the next. So when we test a bed for abnormal wear or for soft spots, we're always going to test your hips area, and then we're going to go down and test where your feet are, because your feet don't go into the mattress at all.
Interesting.
And your head doesn't either because the pillow takes all the weight. So.
Okay, well, you're totally not here for this, but I totally want to purchase new mattresses. But if people are listening and they feel like they like you and but they can't get to the mattress itself, you do ship if people are interested in it, or is that too hard for you?
No, we definitely will.
You do.
I've got friends and another business down in Florida, and I've shipped a lot of beds to Florida. We've shipped to customers all over the country. We've shipped overseas. So, we can ship a mattress. We don't box them up in little UPS boxes, but comfortking.net is our website. Even if you just want to go do some research.
Yeah.
You'll see videos on there, how we make them.
It's so great. It's seriously. Okay, so the reason you're here is because what are you doing with homemade masks? I saw a story about you, and so I wanted to have you on. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with that.
Well, yeah. So about 2 weeks ago, my mom, who works at a nursing home, she sent me a text and said, "Oh, you should make masks." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then I just kind of forgot about it. But then a couple of days later, a friend of mine in Dubuque, Iowa, who has a mattress factory store there by the name Dubuque Mattress, and his name is Doug, and he started doing it on a Sunday. So it was about 11 days ago. And I looked at Facebook, and I saw he put on Facebook, he said, "We're making masks," and he had his own design. And I texted him. I said, "Tell me, what's your design and what's going on?" And I decided that night to come in and experiment and make my own. And I decided to change up the design a little bit. And I wanted to use some materials that we had on hand, whereas he was purchasing materials from Joann's Fabrics. But we have a lot of surplus fabrics here and different materials we can work with. So I came in on Monday about a week and a half ago and just started experimenting with different things. And then I came up with a design that I thought worked really well. And I used a border material for our mattresses, the fabric that goes around the border. And it's got a fire retardant fiber in it. It's an all natural fiber. It's a rayon material. And it really acts like a very good filter, basically. And I'll tell you about it later. But we started making them on a Monday at around noon. And after I made a few and I realized I could actually do this, I put it on Facebook, put a video, and then almost immediately one of the news stations wanted to do a story. And then so we had two news people do it in the same day. And then it kind of blew up here. And then a few days later, I had my Fargo store do it, and they blew up. And now they're just under a mountain of demand. Like, we're giving these away for free.
It's really great.
We've already given away 3,000.
Oh my gosh. Seriously? Really? That's remarkable. Yeah. Now, is the design like a surgical mask or one of the more like the Olsen more fitted masks? Which way did you go with the design? I'm the kind of person, I don't like, when I cook, I don't like to look at a recipe. And there's a lot of great designs out there. Yeah. I've seen some, but I like to make my own. And so I did some sewing and experimenting, and I don't know what you call it, but we've made a bowl shaped, and there is no elastic anywhere. So we end up using rubber bands, and I got the idea for that because I had a N95 mask at home and I actually used rubber bands and staples. And so I said, well, if it's good enough for them, we'll try it. And our fabric was just the right thickness to be able to take a standard staple and make it go through and actually hold the rubber band. And so we started doing that, and like I said, it just took off, and we're getting a lot of people coming in just for one or two masks for their personal use. But what surprised me is the organizations, the institutions that are calling us, and they need like 100 to 200 masks. Gosh, and I'm like the local hospital, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? I didn't really want to get in the mask making business because we're giving it away. Right. I don't want to start charging for it, but eventually we're going to run out of fabric, and so I don't know. We're kind of slowing down, isn't it? It's so crazy.
But the good news is that a lot of American companies are stepping up and switching to mask making now. And one of my suppliers in Chicago, they're called A. Lava and Sons, and they're a great American company. They've been around third generation now, supplying supplies to the mattress industry. And they started making masks in conjunction with Hanes.
Oh, and interesting.
They're FDA approved. They're not N95, but they are FDA approved, and they're washable, and they're shipping out. And so we're directing people to them now if they need quantity, because they're selling a minimum quantity of 200.
Wow, so that's really cool. Yeah, I feel like this is temporary. Our sort of need to make masks is temporary. As companies sort of get up and running,
I don't know if it will be, because of personal use. It's going to skyrocket. So, the nurses and doctors need them because they just go through so many every day, and they're most vulnerable right now. And so, everyone's scrambling to get them protected. But on the other end of it, once people come out of their hibernation and, want to go out and go to the park or go buy groceries, I think people are going to start wearing masks more, because I don't think they're going to come up with a vaccine anytime soon. And I think the prevention is your best cure here for this. Right. So
terrible.
We're going to see more people wearing masks
pretty consistently. And you feel like the stuff that you're doing helps with the filtration, because are they one-time use masks?
No, ours are washable.
They are.
I'll tell you a little test I came up with. And I think I'm going to make a video and put on Facebook. But I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a scientist. But I am a person with a blow dryer, and so I had an idea. I thought, how am I going to test these masks to see if they stop anything from going into your mouth, right? And nose. But that's the point. And so I got some cornstarch, and I put some inside the mask, and then I took a blow dryer and put it up against the mask really tight and held it, and actually smashed held the fabric around the blow dryer so nothing could come out. And I turned it on and let it run for I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds, and no powder came through.
Interesting.
And then I went home that night and I did it with an N95 mask, and powder came through the mask. I have video of it.
Interesting.
So I'm not saying my masks are better than N95s.
But
however,
they're doing something, right?
I personally am wearing my mask before I'd wear an N95.
That's really interesting. Fascinating. So fascinating. Well, your story is remarkable. I mean, really, seriously. And I don't know. I just think it's remarkable. And
Well, I want to say, for one thing, I told you, my buddy gave me the idea. So Doug in Dubuque, he's the guy that I copied the idea from, and we're friends, and he's doing phenomenal work there, and he's given out more masks than I have. Even he's still going. In fact, the governor gave him a pass so that he could reopen just to supply masks.
Amazing.
And the second thing I say is the volunteers that we've had, we call them our army of home sewers. And it's all, I put the word out, and all these local ladies have come in, and they got sewing machines at home, and they're bored and they want to help. And that's been one of the best things about this.
So tell me a little bit about that. So are the home sewers sewing the masks for you? Are you cutting them out and having them sew them? Is that how is it working exactly?
At first we were drawing, our template with a marker onto each piece of fabric and then cutting it out and giving them stacks. But after that, during the first day when it went out on the media, we ran out of those real quick, and we had so many people coming in here. We ended up just I gave one lady 2 rolls of fabric, which is enough to make 500 masks, and she's already done.
Wow.
And we were giving other people, 60 yards, 70 yards, and they'd bring back 100 masks.
Wow.
And, 150 masks. And that's what's been so cool about this, is that we could have never kept up, because we're just a small operation. There's only 7 of us here at each of our stores. And we're still building some mattresses. We still have people buying mattresses a little bit here and there. So we can't just shut down.
Right. So your quilting army, or your sewing army, helped make this possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been putting some of them on Facebook and taking their picture and asking if you're okay if I'm putting you on Facebook, because I want to give the credit out too. I don't want to act like it's just me doing this.
Yeah, no, of course.
My wife came in here and she worked with us for like 3 straight days, and we just waiting on people, just helping them when they came in. And it's been, really touching to get. I got a message from a lady yesterday on Facebook. She's 73 years old, asked me could I mail her one. So I'm going to mail her a couple masks.
That's very sweet. That's very, very, very sweet. This is just such a great story, and I wish we didn't have to have this story, but I certainly appreciate your time, and you're amazing. It's just so insanely cool. Do you need to have anything else? Any other thoughts? Any other things before we sign off?
No, I'll just say this is a scary time, and I think everyone's just trying to figure things out every single day. It just feels like our world's upside down, and I don't know if any of us alive have ever gone through anything close to this. So
it's craziness.
I think we'll come through it, and it's going to be American companies that do it. And I would just strongly encourage people to think locally, buy local, support your local businesses, because the local people need local jobs. Yeah. And, Amazon doesn't need any more of your money. He's already the richest man in the world.
Right.
And we need more manufacturing coming back here to the U.S. So
local. Think local.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Again, thank you so much for chatting and telling us about this. Hold on just a second. Just hold on real quick. So you've been listening to JustWannaQuilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School. And I'm Elizabeth Townsend Gard. If you like this podcast, keep listening. Also, we have a Facebook group. Come join us. We talk about a lot of things. We also have an Instagram account. And of course, most importantly, I really hope you get a chance to quilt today.